What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be talking about NBA 2K21 and 2K20 MyTEAM. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to be comparing the best squad in NBA 2K21 MyTEAM that you can get right now today as of the 13th of June. And we are going to be comparing this squad to last year's squad, and I'll be saying which one I believe is better. So before we get on to, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe to 265k by NBA 2K22. And also, lads, again, if you just like my team content, you like my team news, this is the best place for that. So it's a bit of an interesting one, and I'm going to be talking about this in two ways. There is best team, and I'm going to say gap versus budget options has to be taken into account. Because if the best possible team is only a tiny bit better than the best team for like 200k, then that's obviously not as good as like some God Squad players that are just overall just more overpowered. And obviously games are being taken into account based on how they play in their individual game. So in 2K21, so we're going to start off with 2K21 right now, and the point guards, I mean, is this roster played 21? There's no point even looking at that because we know all the cards that are here. I mean, at the point guard position, I'm putting Kurylenko, I'm going AK, and it's a really tough one. I'm going Giannis. But if you want to put in Simmons, I'm not going to oppose putting in Simmons there. There are so many great options throughout that point guard position. But AK, I personally just believe is number one on that list. I think AK, just what he can do with his 98 on both gens. Again, I have realized I've cut off his points there, or his stat there. Like, he's got 99 in all his defense. That's every defensive half badge. Again, he's a go card or an invincible card. I don't care what anyone says. He is absolutely, he's basically that level. And then Giannis is Giannis. The famous DBG quote: "Giannis is Giannis. No matter what they do, no matter what animations they give them, he's Giannis at the end of the day." And Giannis is always going to be Giannis. The famous DBG quote, and I probably paraphrased that, but I did basically say Giannis is going to be Giannis for about a good minute. He's just God tier. Give him half range. I mean, a half range. The fact that half range came out in the token market a while ago, most people have a half range line there. Most of these cards on the market have half range. Yeah, Giannis is going in there at point guard. So then last year was an interesting one. So let me have a think about this. So today is the 13th of June, which was Showtime packs had come out at this stage. This was the week of spot sims. Oh, this was the week the game was free. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the game became free this week, or the game became like on a $3 sale, and we need the game on a $3 sale this year. Had Jalen Rose gotten his Evo at this stage? Actually, I don't think Jalen Rose had even come out at this stage. Had he? He was a buzzer beater, wasn't he? I'm trying to find when Jalen Rose came out. Jalen Rose is a god. It's mad. We had LaMelo Ball. Like, LaMelo Ball was 2 weeks from now when he came out. So, I mean, are we going to go point guard Giannis? Are we going to go point guard Giannis and point guard Simmons? Or point guard LeBron, maybe? So I reckon Giannis and LeBron. Or Magic Johnson if you want a deep hash. It's those three, probably. So Giannis was a little bit different than... Actually, what am I on about? It's basically the same. Less half badges, but obviously guy came out in March. Came out like March the 5th or something. March the 6th. Like, he came out like pre-quarantine, like 30 half badges. Yeah, he doesn't have as many half badges as this one here. Was 51. So 30 half badges. you look at the key badges, he has all the key ones. He has range. Giannis is still incredible. And then LeBron. LeBron was a bit different. And there is one reason why LeBron was different. And you can put Simmons in this conversation as well. There's no like objective who's better, LeBron or Simmons. For me, LeBron better solely Pro 8. The Pro 8. Simmons, sorry, had it as well. But LeBron was so elite because of Pro 8. Pro 8 was just... You could run through people's bodies. I'm pretty sure I had LeBron on my squad at the very end of the year. He was incredible. He came out in April. So yeah, these guys, 1 and 2 point guards. It's mad. These guys have come out in the last 3 weeks. These guys came out in April and March. When did Position 2 come out? Position 2 that year was a week later. It was the 19th of June. It was the 19th of June. Alright, so that's our point guard position sorted. So the 2 guards right now, I'm putting in Luka Doncic and Kevin Durant. Both invincible cards, both got every single Hall of Fame badge, so there's no point even. And I accidentally clicked inspect element. Kevin Durant. So these guys, again, the difference is that KD is KD base. Luka Doncic has got X in base. I think playing them at the... They're both better. Best he played the 2. Obviously, Kevin Durant can't really play at the 1. But Luka, I think, is definitely best at the 2. Absolute chicken man. One of the best releases in the game. And then Kevin Durant's obviously Kevin Durant. 6'10". He can curry on next gen. Elite release. Elite movement. Elite player build. Great wingspan. And Kevin Durant is just... Kevin Durant is spectacular in 2K. So, actually, I forgot to actually break down who I think are the better point guards. I'm going to say these guys, and let me explain why. 2K20. Because at this stage in 2K20, this Giannis card was 300k. He was legit. He was legitimately 300k. This LeBron was about 400k. These guys here, obviously, they're a little more expensive right now. The difference is that for 10,000 MT, you can get yourself... For 15k, you can get yourself a Josh Smith. For 10k, you can get yourself a Batum. These guys are definitely better. But I mean, the gap between those guys... And if you remember last year, if you did not have like 75k to spend on a point guard, you had to run Bonga. You pretty much had to run Bonga. Or you had to concede you were screwed by the tall players and run Dwayne Wade. Almost every 100k, 150, 200k squad had Bonga and Dwayne Wade as the point guard. Bonga because he was the only one tall enough to guard any of them. And Dwayne Wade because, well, there's no one else that's going to be able to guard them. So you got to run a small point guard and maybe get some stuff with working with Dwayne Wade 300. Like, that was all budget squads. No budget guys can compete with these guys, especially with the dribble glitch. So for me, these guys in turn were better for their time. They were more OP for their time in comparison to these. Obviously, these are the grade 2 guards, 99 every stat. Let's look at the 2 guards last year. I mean, probably T-Mac. Who was in this set? No, it wasn't Jimmy. A lot of people did use Jimmy. Kawhi was out at this stage, wasn't he? Yeah, it's Kawhi, and it is no-brainer Kawhi Leonard at the 2. He was the best. He was so elite. Kawhi was so elite in 2K20. Okay, he's already in there. And who else? Would it have been T-Mac? Or DeRozan? I mean, T-Mac was better, but he wasn't better by much. I mean, this guy was a god. Dale Ellis was a god last year. He had Ray Allen base, man. He was one of the best cards. He was the most slept on card in the game last year. Kevin Durant, this was duos. Steven Jackson's pretty good, wasn't spectacular. I'm trying to think, who else was there? I mean, point guard Tracy McGrady, I guess, was probably the best 2 guard. Definitely don't run him at the point guard, but point guard T-Mac was the best at that time. So Tracy McGrady obviously still got the Trey Burke base, which he has this year. The big difference is that Tracy McGrady, the Trey Burke base is better in 2K20 than 2K21. And Kawhi Leonard, Pro 8 with Ray Allen base. Like, as great as Kawhi Leonard is on both gens this year, especially on next gen, man, Kawhi last year was a different animal. He was as good as he is this year. Like, imagine Kawhi this year with his with the best jump shot in the game, with his great defensive stance, with his elite defense, and imagine you add a dribble glitch to that. Kawhi was #1, maybe card in the game at this stage last year. He was so good, so good. Now we're looking at small forwards. I mean, I'm probably gonna get some stick for this. I'm gonna go Thon and Chicken Man Jameson. I'm gonna go Thon and Chicken Man Jameson right here. And I keep forgetting to compare the two guards. Personally, as great as the two guards are this year, the budget ones, I'm gonna go with this year's two guards. Yeah, Kawhi definitely over Doncic. Kevin Durant so much over Tracy McGrady. It's not even close. So even though Kawhi is the best in them all, these are the numbers 2 and 3, and I think that these guys are very, very good. And the difference is, like, the budget players like Mikal Bridges, yeah, there's levels to it. Luka is quite a bit better than them, and like again, Dale Ellis is like Kawhi without the defense. And there were so many really good two guards that could like play at an elite level, despite not being like seen as two great cards. I'm trying to see if I can find any of them here. Obviously, Kawhi was absolutely elite. I mean, you could, you wouldn't run JR. So I think there were definitely a lot of great two guards that I just can't think of off the top of my head. I mean, B. Roy was pretty cheap and he was really good. Am I wrong about that? Am I wrong that there was only Dale Ellis? No, you could run Wade at the 2. Joe Caldwell was pretty good at the 2. Joe Caldwell was really good at the 2. And with base 98 last year, that was a legitimate tactic. So, yeah, I'm going to go this year's, but it's a very, very close one. Small forwards, last year. Again, we're in the middle of June right here. We're in the middle of June. So, again, if we have one more week, I could put Jonathan Isaac in there because a lot of people ran him a small forward and he was so good. This set right here, we have Rashard Lewis. Siakam, without doubt, Siakam was incredible. He was so good last year. And then, I mean, people around Kawhi. Jimmy, I guess, maybe. Could it be Jimmy? Definitely not Clay. This Giannis, but I can't run. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna change the Giannis to a Simmons. And it was this Ben Simmons at the Evo, and I'm gonna play Giannis at the 3. So he was elite. Or maybe even at the 4, because I keep forgetting, like, it's not the 28th of June was when everything changed in last year's MyTEAM. When Wiseman came out. When Wiseman and LaMelo and stuff came out. That's when the next packs changed everything last year. It's like even player clubs only came out like the day after next packs. I'm going to put both these guys to 4, I reckon. I reckon they will probably play best at the 4. Yeah. Yeah, they play best at the 4 because I know who I'm playing at the 5. Who played well at small forward last year? We didn't have many great spotlights in. Screw it. Screw it. Robert Covington. Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish, Rocco. They were, I'm pretty sure, in competitive settings. I'm pretty sure Ty won like 1,000 MyTEAM games in a row. Why are there 2 Evos on Rocco? I'm pretty sure Ty won like however many games it was in a row. 1,000 games were in Rocco and Cam Reddish. Most of his accounts. And yeah, these guys are going to be in a power forward. the small forwards this year of Chicken Man Jameson and Thon Maker wiped the floor with these guys. Although these guys were budget beasts. I can't even remember who were great small forwards last year, because I'm pretty confident I ran Roko and Cam Reddish. I'm pretty sure I ran like Kawhi at times. I think I ran Ben Wallace at times. I ran a bunch of different guys at that small forward position. On certain accounts, I'd be running Levine. I'm pretty sure, actually on my own account, I'm still running this T-Mac at small forward. Cards had much better longevity last year. Like cards outside of like the Kawhi Leonard card and like Steph at the start of the year, very few cards have had real longevity this year. Like the season 4 Kawhi probably has had the most longevity of anybody in my team, and that's just because he's Kawhi and people are using him competitively as a cone. But then these are the power forwards. This year's power forwards, I mean Bol, Porzingis, Bill Russell. I mean, we gotta go Bill Russell. I'm just gonna go combine the power forwards and the centers. So we're gonna Bill Russell, Bol, Porzingis. And I'm gonna actually swap these two here, and then Mutombo. And I keep misspelling Mutombo because I keep saying it's Mutombo, not Mutombo. I keep thinking it's spelled like Mutombo, not like Mutombo. But then we got the centers last year. Kareem. Second, Shaq. So Shaq was again pretty good. I mean, you could argue Bosch because Bosch could tween. You could argue you could use Bosch. There was a lot of debate around the second best center in the game last year. There really was a lot of a debate. But this year, I mean, these 4 guys, all incredible. All primary centers. Again, we have 2 primary power forwards, a small forward. We got height. We got height on this team. I'm trying to think of power forwards that can compete. I mean, we had the free Christian Wood. That's like a budget Bill Russell. We got a couple of good Spotlight Sim players. Pokashevsky is like a budget version of Bol, but he's not quite Bol. He's definitely not quite Bol. Kristaps, I mean, a budget version of Kristaps is Bol. And there's no budget version of Dikembe. That's the one thing I will say, is that there is no budget Dikembe Mutombo in my team. So Dikembe is he's in a class of his own in my opinion. There are no cards that are similar standard to Dikembe. And then we have last year. Siakam, he was basically this year's Siakam, but with the way my team was played last year with the Deep Hash 5 out, the Deep Hash Milwaukee Bucks 5 out, he was like absolutely elite when it came to being a shooter. That's all you needed. And then you had Giannis, who could obviously dribble glitch. And then we obviously have Simmons, the point guard, who I still put as a very similar level. I think that Giannis who can dribble glitch. Giannis having a dribble glitch last year, I think his release was a little bit better last year. Shaq was not good last year. I think Shaq is basically, last year was the equivalent to his Warped Reality card this year. I didn't like him last year. I don't like him this year. But that Kareem card is the most dominant card we had ever seen in my team at that point. That Kareem Abdul-Jabbar card is better than any card in my team right now. So I'm going to give the advantage to 2K20 in the power forward center combination. So which team was better, 2K20 or 2K21? You've got to think about the way the game is when you're answering this question. If you just look on paper, you're going to say 21 wipes the floor with 2K20, but it's not necessarily the case. And there are 2 reasons why the winner is 2K20. And the fact that the 2K20 team is better is actually bodes well for 2K21, because I'm going to tell you the reasons. There are great budget guys that you can run at the point guard this year. There are budget alternatives to all of these guys that in the right hands can give you similar output. Last year, there wasn't. Like, as we've seen, I've got Roko and Reddish because I couldn't even find any other players that were enough better than them. It's like they were like the one option. But at the point guard position, you were still running Bonga in July. I went 12-0 with Bonga in July. Simply put, I was using an Amethyst point guard in July because there were just no other options. I had to use them. And then that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I was meant to play in a tournament. Obviously, the tournament got cancelled, but it was at the end of June, and I literally spent money on this game because I needed Kareem. Kareem, if you did not have Kareem, you were losing. It was that simple. Kareem would beat you by himself last year. He had a dribble glitch behind the back, one of the best releases in the game. If you did not have Kareem this time last year, you were losing. And that was the case realistically until Wiseman came out. And even once Wiseman came out, Kareem was still way better. Kareem stayed in everyone's best squad till the end of the year. He was the best, in my opinion, he was the most iconic, like he was the best player in all of 2K20 because he came out 2 months before Yao, and he was like 90% as good as Yao. Kareem is the difference maker. And Kareem specifically, there were no good budget centers except for Eddie Curry, and Eddie Curry couldn't deal with Kareem. And Eddie Curry was like 70k at this stage. Dino, again, didn't have range or anything. There were no budget centers that could compete with Kareem. So for me, it was purely a case that Ben Simmons, LeBron were unguardable by budget players. That Kareem was literally unguardable by budget players. And for that reason, I'm giving the nod to the best team 2K20. Purely because you can compete against these guys if you get a great budget team in the right hands. It was nearly impossible to do that last year, especially with that Kareem. And man, I played a game against 5 Kareems, the toughest game I've ever played. So yeah, the peak team was so much better in 2K20 than 2K21 in comparison to the average team. But I will talk about maybe tomorrow, because I'll make my top 100 list tomorrow. It was meant to be today, but I mean it's got a little bit of late. It's like 11 p.m. and I can't really speak for another hour. I might make this video with the budget players, and that would be a very, very interesting one, just to see how much better the budget players are this year than last year. That's going to be the real sign of everything. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.